Morning everyone, hope you're going well. We've had about a 7mm rain overnight. A bit lucky we didn't end up with more. It looked pretty nasty on the weather radar coming across. I was a bit worried, probably didn't sleep all that well, just with a bit worried it was going to get cold. It was probably colder here than what it was last night. Just with a fair few shorn sheep, and we still haven't finished shearing. Yeah, hopefully they'll finish today. Just finishing off some lambs now and then the rams. Yeah, so I was a bit worried just with the lambs are on good feed that were shorn yesterday, but it's still not ideal when it comes in wet and cold like it is. But yeah, we're just running a bit of grain out to some of the ewes at the moment. We just see that just runs a trail of grain along the ground. We've got a little electric actuator, so you don't, with a remote control, that you can do it from inside the ute. Generally, you don't have to get out, but the battery in the remote's flat, so I'm just I thought I'd hop out and give you a bit of a show and tell while we're going. We're just feeding oats out at the moment. Probably not a hell of a lot of nutritional value in them. Generally, we trial feed wheat or barley when sort of leading up to lambing and pre-lambing, or at the moment these guys need to go back out the other farm. But yeah, they haven't got a lot to eat where they are here, but they're in good nick. So they haven't got lambs at foot, so we're just trail feed them every day for a while, and just till I get a bit more of a pelt back on them and swing what we're spring this week. So yeah, the days are going to get longer and warmer as we go. So anyway, happy days. Thought I'd come for a run down in the buggy. It's pretty wet and sticky on the tracks at the farm at the moment. Last night's rain, so sort of just come down and check the ewe lambs out and make sure they're okay. They'll have me enough plenty green grass in here for them. Yeah, we'll get them out. We'll get them out to the other farm at some stage and get them out onto some loose. Got a few bales of silage we put here yesterday they're getting into, but they've got a bit to eat here for a little while. So yeah, some dry grass, a bit of clover and a bit of lucerne underneath it, so it's not a bad mix. They're happy enough. Just while waiting for the shearers, I'm just going to pull these draper rollers out. You can see they should have rubber all the way along them to the end, both top and bottom. These are the drive rollers. So when the canola's green and wet like at windrowing time, it's pretty heavy. So there's a fair bit of force on these rollers trying to bring that mat. This is a 35-foot front or a 10.5 metre front. So yeah, there is a bit of weight there. I had a bit of a trial run. I've managed to get that one out pretty easily, which is good. We'll do the bearing in that end of him while we're going. It's got a bearing in there. We'll just get a bit of a slide hammer set up, organised, and we'll knock them out. Get the rain. Working in a puddle, so I've had to go on for a set of gumboots. There's a flat tyre on the trailer, so we'll whip him off and take him to town while we're going. But I'll just there's a bolt at that end that undo, and we've got to undo the hydraulic motor itself. There's a couple of bolts in there just to let it come back a bit, and then you can see just in there there's a grub screw. So there's two of them, but we need to let the whole show needs to go back a bit to line up so we can undo the grub screws and get him out. Both came out relatively painless. Yeah, a bit of persuasion with the bar there, and the motor came off. Just have a look here, show you a little hydraulic motor there, and it's just got a wood rough key. which slides in the groove of the in there. That just slides in there and locks in there, and that's what drives it. That one you can see. He probably wants a new key. Actually, the key's a bit worn on the drive side there, so we might get a couple of new Woodruff keys and bang them in while we're going. So while we're waiting for the shearers to finish off, we're just cleaning a bit of gear up. Brendan's just going to clean the last of the seed out of the little seeder. And I've got this high-tech bit of equipment here. We're just going to drain the oil out of the wheel motor on the windrower. We'll just have to do one at a time. You've got the two plugs here, and top and bottom. So yeah, we're just getting them in the right spot to be able to drain them. Yeah, so it's interesting. It says to only change the oil every 1,000 hours in the book, but that oil was changed last year. It's done about 200 hours, and it's pretty black looking. So yeah, it's a good time. Good thing we do it every year. Oil's cheap. Just leave that to run in there quietly, and yeah, once it's done, we'll top him back up again and do the other side. Really? It's a bit rainy and a bit ordinary outside now, so the guys are just shearing the rams, and I've just set the handler up here. I'm just going to run them through to give the 6-in-1 in it. We've got a multivitamin there we're going to give them in the back lawn, but I've just set the scales up, and we'll get a bit of an idea of what they sort of weigh. How this gadget works, they just walk in and the sensor sets it off and it grabs hold of them. So you just never want to stick your arm in there, because I don't reckon that the outcome would be all that great. Anyway, we'll run a couple in. A bit of weight about him, a bit hard to handle too. The machine's only just holding him. So we're just here in town, and we've just got the draper rollers out of the windrower front. What we've discovered is that the keyways, and it's a bit hard to see with the camera, but the keyways are worn in that boss there that goes onto the hydraulic motors. So what we're going to do, we're here at Specialist Hydraulics in Yarrawonga. Dan's a young bloke that's having a real crack with machining and hydraulics. So what he'll do is he'll part that off in the lathe, get rid of that bit, and make up a new one, and yeah, weld it on and get it all true, and then we'll take it up and get the rubber lagged, redone. So, but yeah, just discovered that, so I was on my way to the lagging place, and then had a look at them and thought, oh dear, we better get that sorted out first. So anyway, it's a pretty common sort of issue and a pretty common fix. So yeah, we're back into maintenance mode now that shearing's tidied up. We've still got a few sheep to sort out. Brendan's just giving the girls their morning feed. So yeah, we're gonna get this bit of work on this trailer. New mud guards, got booked in for new tyres. I've got a little ride height valve here that's got a bit of an air leak. We've got a few air leaks we need to chase. Yeah, we need to get a list of parts and get a bit of stuff together. Give it a clean out. If I hop up here, we use this trailer for sewing. It's got this electric remote control door on the back of it. I'll just hop up here. We've got a new tarp organised. The boys came out yesterday, but it's got a division in it. So we put seed up the front and fertiliser in this back part, and then there's a pipe that runs between the front and the back, for loading the air seeder. So yeah, so that division there bolts in. So we've got to take him out. It's ready to come out. Yeah, so we're gonna run this at harvest time. We sort of, as I said earlier, we've gone back to a contractor to do the bulk of our cartage, just with labour and people with truck licences. It's going to be a bit easier. The tractor's still here. Hopefully, it's going to go today, tomorrow to get it sorted out. So yeah, there's a bit happening. Hopefully, head of mechanic will be here today to go over it, and we can start. And well, it's in pieces, so he's just coming to check what parts we've got, and we can. I've got to hop down in there in a minute. We can, with the header, we can start and do a bit of work on it and get it organised. So I like to be organised. It's if we can. So if then something goes awry, it doesn't go to plan. It's a new brake booster there. If we can sort of be semi-organised, it makes it a bit easier if something comes up we get something comes up and time can get wasted pretty quick if we're chasing our tail and crops ready and that sort of stuff. So new mud guards and new tyres, and we'll send it in and get a roadworthy done, and we should be happy days. So got the right height valve back on. We need to actually going to replace it because it's got an air leak in it, but I took it yesterday and didn't actually get to where I was intending to go, so I didn't get any parts. While we're under here, we're under the trailer. We'll replace a couple of these airbags. I reckon there's one here with a leak in it. We're losing air. And just checking the brake linings. The shoes are pretty good, so we can just adjust them up where the time comes. There's a front one, but hopefully it'll get the tick of approval once we take it over to the roadworthy. Little dog's in here giving me a hand. Not a lot of room, but I wouldn't like to be a truck mechanic for a living, I can tell you. Hello, little dog. We just got the old header loaded. We had a bit of a drama with the crook earth, and the handbrake wouldn't come off, so we couldn't shift it, but that was my fault. I pinched a bit of GPS wiring out of it and hadn't done an earth nut up properly. So once we tracked that down, we got it on. So the boys have got a couple of hour trip north, but yeah, should be alright. Just called in to have a look at a bit of crop, one of the other farms while we're shifting a few sheep around. This is wheat. It's a variety called Illabo. It's a grazing variety. So this was sown mid-March, and then once it was up high enough to the point where the sheep couldn't actually physically pull it out of the roots had a good enough grip, they couldn't pull it out of the ground. We moved them in and started grazing it. So roughly 6 to 8 weeks after it was sown. It had 80 odd kilos of MOP starter fertiliser with it. I think it was sown at 70 kilos to the hectare of seed, and it's had 250 kilos of nitrogen so far, of units, 250 kilos of urea so far, so 125 units of N. What we do with this stuff, and it's been sprayed out, so it's sort of died. It's a bit hard to see, but we sow tillage radish with it, and we've just found wheat on its own is naturally calcium deficient, which plays buggery with the sheep. The sheep can affect them quite a lot. So what we actually do is we sow a tillage radish with it, and the sheep actually love the tillage radish. I was trying to find you a good one to pull out, but they've done a pretty good job of it. The chemical that we've sprayed it with to terminate it has done a pretty good job on it too. But Yeah, this one, we've got the plane coming to spray this. We've got an area there that's got quite a lot of trees in it. It's not a lot of fun with the boom spray. It's a bit of a rabbit warren in here. It's an irrigation block, so we've got channels and drains and that's sort of running every which way. So we can irrigate this if we need to. Hopefully by the weather forecast we won't need to, but we'll probably give this another 100 kilos of urea and it'll get one, possibly two fungicides. So anyway, that's shaping up pretty well. It's going to be pretty profitable crop if we can get it through to harvest when you equate the grazing component in it as well. We'll keep looking around and hope you're enjoying your day. Well, we've run into the weekend. Yeah, pretty quiet weekend. We've actually been away in Melbourne, had a eldest nephew's 21st birthday, which was a bit of fun. Caught up with some family. We're about 3 hours drive from Melbourne, so we slipped down there yesterday lunchtime and then back this morning and called in and watched a bit of local footy and a local side club that we support. They had a couple of netball sides in, so we went in and watched them, and then pretty lazy Sunday arvo. We had the header mechanic here on Friday, and they've started pulling the header down and getting a bit of organised with what parts we needed and that sort of stuff. So we've got the rotor out here. It needs a little bit of build-up work on a few spots up the front here. They're the rotor bars or rasp bars, depending on what you want to call them. This one's got a few spiked bars on it, which we generally run. You can see the difference. It's got that higher compared to this guy here. Just helps with separation, just to run a few of them at the back, but this is a new to us 7240. It's done about 1300 rotor hours. So the guys have been, have a little bit of a look up the front here. If you've never, we've got a new transition cone there to go in it. We've put a bit of hard facing on that. So that's the inside of a header. And you can see where we've put the hard facing. This guy's had some patches welded in him. And all these, they're called transition vanes, are worn out. So there's it wants a bit of love in here, so we'll replace a few of these that are buggered, a few new bolts and get it back to nice and new. Got the rotor drive up the back there, and the concos will come around the side here and have a look. New set of feeder house chains there. And come around here, and it's got these grates here that are changeable just for different crops. And they just essentially the product moves up the centre of the machine, and the rotor spins at anywhere from sort of 600 and 1,000 revolutions per minute, and centrifugal force, and it forces the grain out through those grates, and it falls down and moves to the back, and so we'll show a bit more of that. We've got a table full of parts here that have got to go into it, so mechanics pretty busy as they are this time of year, or as they always are, so we'll get to and start and do a bit of work on it ourselves. And being new to us, we sort of need to learn how it all works and goes together, so we can fix it if we need to. So no, it's gonna, it'll be good once we get him going. So anyway, today's actually Father's Day, so just wishing all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day, and I hope you've had a good and pretty cruisy day. And I hope everyone's still enjoying these. And we're heading away. My dad and I are heading away midweek. We're going up to central New South Wales to have a look at some sheep and some rams. So we'll show a bit of that sort of stuff and different part of the world. So yeah, no, I think it's, from all reports, it's pretty wet up there, so it'll be interesting to go and have a look and go for a bit of cruise around with my dad. I'll talk about him. He's a pretty interesting sort of fella, and yeah, he's done a lot in his lifetime. So we'll have a yarn to him at some stage, and yeah, but no, keep watching. Hope you're enjoying it, and yeah, thanks for following along.